Coming up tonight on VCU InSight. Everyone's talking about CBD these days.
2019 will be remembered when Virginia turned blue.
And what it's like to be a student athlete during the holidays. All this and more.
VCU InSight starts right now.
From the Richard T. Robertson School of Media and Culture at Virginia Commonwealth University, named Best Student Newscast in the Mid-Atlantic, this is VCU InSight.
Good evening and welcome to VCU InSight. I'm Sean Jovens.
And I'm Pedro Coronado. Thanks for joining us. From infused lemonades to candles and even pet treats for your furry friend, CBD products are popping up everywhere. InSight's Alyssa Bernier is reporting from our Richmond newsroom with more. Good evening, Alyssa.
Good evening, Pedro. I recently spoke to the co-owner of a shop that strictly sells CBD products. He told me that most of his customers use their products for their health issues. Canapa, located in Carytown, sells cannabidiol or CBD-infused products. CBD is a chemical compound found in the cannabis or marijuana plant. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration says there are no drugs containing CBD that are approved to treat or cure medical conditions. But Canapa co-owner Michael Fergola says customers are dropping the use of Tylenol or Advil for things like CBD.
They're switching to more natural remedies that are beneficial for them, for their kids, and for their family in the long run.
Customers that have used the lotions and bath bombs containing CBD have said that they lower their joint pain and their levels of anxiety and stress. According to a Gallup poll, 14% of Americans use CBD products and say it relieves their symptoms. Fergola says he thinks it allows people to complete their daily activities with ease.
It's helping people just be able to cope with their daily life on a normal basis without having to be through that pain constantly.
Tyler Baker says he's been using CBD products for a couple of months and notices a major difference.
So I have asthma and it makes it kind of hard to breathe, and it also can be painful, like you can get pain in your muscles like randomly from that, so it helps with both of those things pretty significantly.
Fergola says he thinks people just need to become more informed.
I just think it's the lack of research on the product. I think if we understand the plants more and more and more, then we'll actually see the benefits of it.
Canapa is hosting a meet and greet with an official from the United States Department of Agriculture on December 5th to help educate people on the regulations and the future of CBD and hemp in Virginia. Pedro?
InSight's Alyssa Bernier reporting from our Richmond newsroom. Thanks, Alyssa.
Veterans Day celebrations took place across the Commonwealth earlier this month. The Virginia War Memorial held their 63rd annual Veterans Day ceremony to honor and celebrate those who have served and are still serving. Virginia Governor Ralph Northam was the keynote speaker. He's a veteran himself and made sure to thank not only soldiers, but their families for their sacrifices. The event wrapped up with live music from a military band playing the anthems of each branch.
The state elections earlier this month still have people from both parties talking. I took a look into what that means for Virginia.
They waited a long time for this moment.
I said, do you like the color blue?
Well, the wait is officially over.
Virginia is officially blue. Congratulations.
Democrats have taken control of both chambers for the first time in about 2.5 decades. According to the Virginia Department of Elections, an estimated 1.7 million total votes were counted. VCU political science assistant professor Alex Kina says the outcome of this year's state election is remarkable due to Virginia's geography.
Kind of goes against the trend of other southern states that are increasingly Republican since the civil rights. Virginia is trending in the opposite direction.
Kina says the 2016 election encouraged lots of people to get up and vote.
I think that's what brought a lot of voters out, is this realization that democracy actually matters and you have to do something in order to defend democracy.
Voter results show the Democratic majority are younger, more liberal, and more diverse from the Virginia Democrats from the past. One of those younger voters is Atusa Hagani, an executive board member for Young Democrats at VCU. We reached out to campus Republicans, but they didn't respond. Hagani says this election was one for the books.
Completely ecstatic. I know that all the efforts that I worked towards actually were accomplished.
Hagani says the ERA, or Equal Rights Amendment, should be the focus for the Democrats' next legislative session.
Which I don't understand why hasn't been passed yet, but with a blue majority, I am hopeful that it will get passed.
Democrat Ghazala Hashmi also made history in Virginia after becoming the first Muslim woman elected to Virginia's state senate.
It's officially the season to give, and one of Central Virginia's food banks says it's ready. InSight's De'Ara Robertson is inside our Richmond newsroom with more. Good evening, De'Ara.
Good evening, Sean. According to recent statistics, more than 800,000 people are struggling with hunger in the state of Virginia. Feedmore plays a large role in providing for many of those during the holidays and year-round. Whether it's providing food, clothes, or even quality time, there's something about the holidays that puts everyone in the giving spirit.
Oh goodness, this is a really special time of year for us here at Feedmore. We really see the joy of giving come alive during the holidays.
Feedmore collects, prepares, and distributes meals to almost 200,000 people across Central Virginia every year. With over 1,600 meals made daily, Jessica Hickey believes everyone is ready for what is their busiest time of year.
Yeah, I think our team is always kind of ready for it. Since the holiday giving, we do see an increase in donation, an increase in people wanting to volunteer and give back.
Hot meals are delivered Monday through Friday in a tray like this with the Meals on Wheels program. James Chalifo says, even for days they aren't there, the meals will always be prepared and delivered.
You know, if there's a holiday that's on a Monday or something like that, we prep an extra 700 or so meals that go out on the Friday, so they'll get Saturday, Sunday, and Monday covered.
And with this being the time of year that food drives are flooding with donations and additional volunteers, that makes it easier to get the meals out to those in need.
You know, they could be your neighbor or a loved one that's just not able to do it for themselves. They get this food that we prepare every single day for them, and I think it's pretty awesome.
Something new for Feedmore this holiday season is a reverse advent calendar. They're asking people to collect items during the first 24 days of December. Then everybody can drop everything off the day after Christmas. Sean?
De'Ara Robertson reporting from our Richmond newsroom. Thanks, De'Ara.
Ever wonder what could happen with all that spare change we have rattling around at the bottom of our bags and purses? InSight's Nia Cole's in the studio with someone who made that change a vehicle for positive change.
I'm here with Rebecca Durfee, a teaching assistant professor and the assistant chair of the VCU Department of Statistical Sciences and Operations Research. Thanks for being here, Rebecca.
Thank you for having me.
So, can you tell me a little bit about the Quick Spurt project you're doing?
Yes. One of my friends that I've known since second grade is a children's book author, and he spoke at a middle school in Quicksburg, Virginia, which is about 2 hours from here. I'd never heard of it. And he learned from the faculty there that some of the students out in Quicksburg live in houses that don't have heat, they don't have indoor plumbing, they have dirt floors, no electricity. And while he was giving his presentations there, he learned the teachers use their own money to buy food for these families and show up Thanksgiving morning with warm meals. And they also do something similar at Christmas time. They show up with gifts, and by gifts I mean toothbrushes, socks, you know, things we would consider necessities. And so Mark had posted about that on Facebook. And when I read that, I knew I wanted to contribute. So I knew I wanted to send money out to his contact person out there. But then it occurred to me that I have over 200 students every semester. And if each student just reached in their bag and put in the change that's floating around in the bottom of their bags, that could be a sizable contribution every semester.
Wow, so you say you have over 200 students. So would you say even more than that have donated towards this project? How many students would you say have contributed?
Well, this is my 5th semester doing it, and so that's 1,000 students, I would say. Yeah, and so yeah, altogether the students have donated over $1,000 worth of coins, and one student did a donation where she collected items and sent the items out there. So yeah.
What type of items did that student collect?
She was a member of a sorority, so they had a function, and the cost of admission in that function was you had to bring a canned good or a school supply or a toiletry item.
Wow.
Yeah, so she sent those out there.
Would you ever consider doing anything else similar to like this project you're doing with your students now?
Well, I plan to continue this. The thought of those kids, especially just the past couple of days when it's been so cold, you know, out there with no heat and dirt floors. So this is going to be my project going forward, and I plan to keep doing this as long as I work here.
So how much would you say you've contributed so far? I know you said over $1,000.
Yeah, at the end of this semester, I think it'll be closer to $1,200.
Wow, and this is all just from your students' loose change?
Yes.
So is it when you begin class, you just ask, hey, if you have any loose change or anything to donate?
Yeah, I make the announcement the first day and I explain the situation and I tell the story. And then after that, I just leave a little bucket on my desk, and the students have the ability on their way in or their way out to just drop their change in.
What was your friend's reaction to all of this?
My friend was happy, and then the contact person out in Quicksburg, the teacher out there, she said she was brought to tears. She calls the students here her VCU angels.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what are some items that you have been able to donate for or towards? So I know you said toiletry supplies, hygiene products. I know you said the winter's coming up, so coats. So more like clothes and hygiene type things.
And I think they do buy some toys as well for the kids at Christmas, just little toys. But you know, those kids have very basic needs out there, so they make sure those are met as well.
Wow, okay, thank you, Rebecca. I've been speaking with VCU Teaching Assistant Professor Rebecca Durfee. Rebecca, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
It seems like holiday decorating is starting earlier than ever these days. The folks at Stoney Point Fashion Park invited guests to help them light up their 42-foot tree in early November. It features over 2,000 ornaments and 100,000 lights. Before the tree lighting, ice skaters performed in the middle of the plaza to some classic Christmas songs. Then the crowd counted down for the big moment. Guests can enjoy the ice rink, the Christmas tree until the end of the holiday season.
A VCU substance abuse recovery program will be a model for such programs for colleges across the Commonwealth. Last month, Rams in Recovery received $675,000 to work with 8 partner schools around Virginia. The funding is from the Virginia Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Services. Over the next 2 years, program leaders from VCU will work with their counterparts in other universities to strengthen already existing programs. Schools include UVA, Virginia Tech, and the University of Richmond. A different program at VCU takes on something considered part of the college experience, drinking alcohol. Health officials say for students, this sometimes leads to substance abuse. They would like to change that, and they say it starts with asking the right questions. InSight's Jason DeVesser has our story.
A new alcohol abuse prevention program is in the works at VCU, one that VCU Director of the College Behavioral and Emotional Health Institute, Dr. Danielle Dick, says will focus more on students.
Or what we're doing as a field is missing an opportunity to do a better job of addressing substance use.
Dick says these existing programs have only been focusing on students' current alcohol use for more than 15 years now, and that these programs fail to answer the question,
what are the underlying risk factors that could make some people more at risk than others?
Risk factors such as being impulsive, taking risks, stress, and anxiety. Dick says students vary in these risk factors. It can lead to binge drinking, the consumption of large amounts of alcohol within a short period of time. It's common among young adults.
Dick says that out of 7,913 freshmen here, about half of them have reported they've blacked out from drinking alcohol.
It's ingrained in the college culture.
That's Kendall Graham, a substance health educator for the VCU Wellness Resource Center. Dick says she's collaborating with the Resource Center to build the program. The program will consist of surveys with individualized feedback, focus groups, and a web source for students to access.
So if you feel like you need to drink because everyone is drinking, that's not true. There's a large percentage of people who aren't drinking.
To make students understand that these risk factors can also be of good use.
We want our risk takers to be the CEOs and the entrepreneurs, not accidentally end up in a pathway where they spiral into substance use problems.
A pathway they're focused on paving, mostly for college students. For VCU InSight, I'm Jason DeVesser.
And VCU researchers say that pathway will take about 2 to 3 years to fully develop. They're hoping other universities could use it as a model.
Their names you know: media superstar Oprah Winfrey, former First Lady Michelle Obama, and former U.S. Secretary of State Colin Powell. and they were all the first in their family to attend college, so-called first-generation students. Earlier this month was National First Generation College Celebration Day, and VCU has a group just for them. InSight's Nia Coles has more.
U-First is a VCU organization that has programs and initiatives directed towards first-generation students. It was created in 2018 as an outlet for first-gen students to have support from each other at VCU. Division of Strategic Enrollment Management Administrator and one of the founders of U-First, Elizabeth Banbakis, said it all started with a conference trip she took her students on a few years ago in Columbia.
And they had such a good time getting to know other students from around the country who are also first gen, seeing how their experiences were very similar no matter where they were.
She says VCU students wanted to bring that experience to their very own campus. Some of the programs U-First includes is their U-First Mentorship Program. Members are partnered with first-year students to provide guidance and advice throughout their college years. First-year student and mentee Destiny Spain says having a mentor in U-First has really helped.
Text me and let me know like when basketball games are, and like when the schedule planner came out to get my schedule ready for the spring semester, she texted me and was like, we can go to the library.
Last year, U-First only started out with 14 mentors. Now they have over 50 mentors that guide and support first-year students to let them know they're not alone.
Mentor Tori Hun says mentees aren't the only ones U-First impacts.
Seeing this and seeing others just really motivated me.
U-First continues to grow with new members each year. For VCU InSight, I'm Nia Coles.
VCU's U-First group will hold their next meeting on December 3rd. It will focus on de-stressing and mental health, just in time for final exams.
The VCU School of Arts recently held a showcase for the Department of Music. It was the first recital of the semester and was open to the public earlier this month. 13 different students performed. The department has about 300 students overall and holds 200 concerts and recitals each year. The next Jumper recital will be on December 9th.
Another VCU music performance went to different heights. VCU Opera held its Tangled Webs Gala this past weekend at the Singleton Center of Performing Arts on the Monroe Park campus. Co-directed by Melanie Cohn-Day and Kenneth Woods, it's celebrating 69 years of opera at the university. It featured scenes from different operas with guest performances from VCU alumni. Operas included Peter Grimes, Hansel and Gretel, and Madama Butterfly.
It's often said that America is the land of immigrants. Young Hispanic immigrants in Richmond schools face special challenges, and that's where VCU students step in to help. InSight's De'Ara Robertson is in our studio with professors who's connecting these two groups.
I'm in the studio with Anita Nadal, an assistant professor of Spanish in the VCU School of World Studies. Anita, thanks for being with us here today.
My pleasure.
So, the course you teach that helps the lives of Spanish immigrants, can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yes, it is a service learning course, and we work with mainly Latino Hispanic immigrants in the Richmond area. The purpose of the course is for students to be able to not only learn in the classroom, but to be able to learn in the community as well. Richmond Public Schools has a need for bilingual Spanish and English volunteers to work in the schools. So this course is able to fulfill that need.
Okay. And so how did you get interested in teaching this course?
I've always been passionate about not only teaching or educating in the classroom, but also being able to teach outside of the four walls of the classroom. So I've always taken my students either abroad or work throughout the community since 2010.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. So your students that volunteer, what do they do on a daily basis with the kids that they see?
They fulfill many needs within the Richmond public school system. They help them with English, they help them with reading, but they're also role models. They help them to navigate social pressures. They help them with acculturation. So they serve multiple purposes.
Okay. And how do you think this program, or what they're doing, impacts the children, but also themselves as volunteers?
It has a huge impact on the children because it's very, very important for the children to be able to see people that look like them, people that speak like them, people that can help them, again, to navigate this new life in this country, and to be able to read books that are culturally competent, books that show people of different nationalities, and help them to read English and Spanish. And so for the students, when we have our reflections in our class, because it's a service learning course, so it goes beyond just volunteerism. It's actually reflection and contextualization of what is being learned. So the students learn so much that many of them go on to be international lawyers, have their own nonprofit organizations, and over the years have just been very, very much involved in the community.
Wow, that's really wonderful and inspiring. So how does it feel to you knowing that you're teaching this course that, like, how does that make you feel inside knowing that you're doing this for them?
It makes me feel great because it's always rewarding for any educator to be able to see students that what you're teaching them, they take it to heart and it changes them. In fact, just last week I ran into a mom that told me that her daughter took my course about 6 years ago, and that now she works in the international department at the University of Texas, Austin, because the course had such an impact on her.
Wow. I've been speaking with Assistant Professor of Spanish and Service Learning Instructor, Anita Nadal. Thanks so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
VCU was recently awarded for its high level of diversity on campus. InSight's Jerron Nutter has more.
Valerie Vu is a sophomore at VCU. She says the diversity on campus gives her a sense of belonging.
I like going to VCU because of the diversity. Being a minority here has definitely made me feel included, just not feeling like the only one that's out there, you know? I feel more included within the community.
The Higher Education Excellence and Diversity Award is given to colleges and universities that represent diversity and inclusion on campus. This year, VCU was awarded and will also appear in the InSight into Diversity magazine. Behind me is the VCU Undergraduate Office of Admissions. The staff that work inside pride themselves in keeping VCU as an open and diverse place to learn. According to College Factual, VCU ranks above the national average in ethnic, geographic, and overall diversity. Dr. Ashir Nassim is the Vice President for Inclusive Excellence at VCU. He says diversity improves the overall experience for campus goers.
And we have great engagement and climate among our faculty and staff and students who feel really good about having a sense of belonging here at VCU, but feeling like their educational experience has been quite rewarding.
Virginia Tech and William & Mary were the only other Virginia colleges that received the HEAT Award this year. For VCU InSight, I'm Jerron Nutter.
This year marks the second straight year that VCU has won the HEAT Award, including winning the award in 2012. Richmond creatives are getting another outlet to chase their dreams. Defiance Studios on Broad Street just had their grand opening November 2nd. One of the owners is multi-platinum producer Milan Youngland Modi. He says he decided to invest after reading about Richmond's underground music scene. He's been producing hip-hop for several years, including in Atlanta and Los Angeles. Same goes for the other owner, Gabriel Williams. The studio he worked out of in Midlothian recently closed. They told Richmond Biz Sense they see lots of musicians in Richmond wanting to break into the business.
A new game club is now open for business in Scott's Addition. Slingshot is the latest addition to the many breweries and restaurants in the area. It opened about 2 weeks ago. The club consists of skee ball, duck pin bowling, and bocce ball all rolled into one. Bowling pins may have shrunk in size, but check out those skee ball machines. Manager Tion Edwards says he was involved in building the lanes for the games. Slingshot is considered eats-ertainment, mixing food with entertainment.
And finally tonight, it's tough to be on the road during the holidays. While everyone else is enjoying time with family, student athletes playing away have to make the best of it.
I had a chance to speak with some VCU athletes about what it's like when you're not home for the holidays. While most students will be at home with their families on Thanksgiving, this is not the case for the VCU women's basketball team. For the past 3 seasons, they've been selected to play in non-conference tournaments across the country during Thanksgiving break. This season, they're playing at Southern Mississippi in the Lady Eagle Thanksgiving Classic. Senior Nyra Williams says it's bittersweet being a student athlete during this holiday.
Just being able to spend time with my team, and they're my family here, so it's good and bad at times.
And family is just what this team is. Last year during the UTSA Thanksgiving Classic in San Antonio, they were inseparable. In those few days, not only did they share food, but they shared the basketball and went 1-1 throughout the tournament. VCU decided to give its students a full week off for Thanksgiving. For student athletes on the road, that means more time with the team and family. Senior Danielle Hammond says that this week-long break is a positive thing.
It definitely means that we have more time as a team to bond together, but also if we do want to bring our family in, we'll have time to spend with them if we choose to.
Williams' family is making the trek to the tournament the 3rd year in a row.
My family will be in Mississippi with me, so it works out.
Thanksgiving is usually a time for family, and this is a team that sees each other as their family, or should I say, Ramley. The Lady Rams will leave for the Thanksgiving Classic tournament in Mississippi on Monday, November 25th. They play Nebraska-Omaha that Friday, the 29th at 7 p.m.
That does it for this edition of VCU InSight.
Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and let us know about any stories you'd like to see on our show.
You can also find this and past shows on our YouTube page. Just search VCU InSight. Thanks for watching. I'm Pedro Coronado.
And I'm Sean Jovins. We'll see you next time.